Can we make you rich? Stay tuned and find out. Welcome to Kramer's Millionaire Maker with Hillary Kramer, described as a one-woman financial investment powerhouse and as one of the best-known investors in America. Now, she's here every week to help you make money and make it to millionaire status or get that next $1 million. Here is the Millionaire Maker, Hillary Kramer.
And welcome to the show. Oh, what a week. What a week. That stock market, don't you forget, there's rotations going on. You have to invest looking forward, and I have those stocks for you. And we are into some really new, interesting sectors. And check me out at hillarykramer.com, and you can find some of those stocks and the symbols, especially Fisker, FSR, NIO, NIO. But right now, I am inundated with questions, and I love questions. Keep them coming. Hillary at hillarykramer.com. There are a few questions that we seem to keep getting duplicates on. James here, my producer, is going to read the questions that he thinks really make the most sense to go through and the most timely. And let's hit it, James.
Okay, here we go. The first one is going to be Cindy from Vermont. It says, is there an opportunity to make money in Beyond Meat? Is the big news partnering with McDonald's, but the stock was already so high and there are many competitors? Plus, my doctor said that there is so much sodium in those fake meat products and they aren't so healthy. Okay.
Okay, well, I think that Salem has some medical shows that may want to address.
Yeah, they can handle that.
Okay, the sodium part. Okay, let's talk Beyond Meat. It's pervasive. It's everywhere, right? I mean, it's,
And everything. I mean, remember, what was it, probably a year or two ago, Burger King came out with their Beyond Meat.
And it made a difference.
Beyond Meat, but
it really made a difference. Well, it's actually a really good question when it comes to Beyond Meat, because that stock, hasn't gotten ahead of itself. So, you can speak to some of these joint ventures, but let me talk to the numbers first, okay? So the numbers on Beyond Meat are not impressive. In their last earnings, which was in February, sales only rose, total sales, 3.3%, okay? That's it, to $101 million for the quarter. The problem is, now they did make $62 million in grocery store sales, but the problem is that food service business, I mean, food service it's just not getting anywhere. A lot of it is COVID, coronavirus related, cutbacks. So Beyond Meat has done a great job of really trying to get in there into the what would you call it, the fake meat, like we call fake chicken, frickin'. Turkey is trickin'. Okay. But if you look at the supermarket, you'll see there's Hillary's. That's a brand. It's not my brand.
Okay.
Gardein, Gardein. We got to find out who makes Gardein.
I think Morningstar is another one, right?
The Morningstar.
It's another one.
Hot. I mean, these are hot, and you don't see a lot of Beyond Meat, but people love Beyond Meat. So the question is margins also. Okay. So I'm the analyst here. When you see a company that has shrinking margins, which means what it costs them to make, and then there's sales, and if margins are starting to narrow, that's really bad. You want margins to widen. You want to be able to keep more and more of the money that comes in from the top line, but they're not, because Beyond Meat has to advertise more. They have to. It's a tough business getting into the supermarkets. So the margins went from 34% to 24%. I don't like that, not one single bit. But there's another side to Beyond Meat, which is why I'm thinking Beyond Meat has some real opportunity here. It could be acquired. So, James, what's going on with Beyond Meat?
All right, so they just announced multi-year deals with McDonald's and Taco Bell parent company Yum Brands. And last month, they did a deal with Pepsi. So McDonald's is just, it's clear they're just trying to compete with any other fast food company they're just trying to jump in it early like Burger King already did. The problem here is that they're going to name their burger the McPlant.
The McPlant?
That's a terrible name.
Oh.
They're not going to be able to market this. They're going to just lose Beyond Meat because it's terrible.
McPlant. I picture, so in the 1970s, McDonald's had this clown.
Like the Ronald McDonald clown.
Yeah.
The terrifying clown, yeah.
Yes, the terrifying clown. Ronald McDonald. He was terrifying, actually.
Yeah.
So when you talk about McPlant, it kind of almost lends itself. They should create some kind of like zombie plant, that like takes over the world.
That's a great idea.
Okay, but I think it's going to be hot. I think it's going to be big because you have a lot of paradox here. People are going vegan. And they're going vegetarian. It doesn't mean they're going healthy, especially, the younger crowd. They're not necessarily looking about health. They're just looking to stay away from meat and chicken for moral reasons, as well as the fact that we know there's a lot of hormones in there. We keep hearing about these chickens. There was this incredibly sad article. James, did you read the article about Costco and how the chickens?
No.
Oh my!
No.
Oh, you got to read it. We're going to
Do
talk
I
about
want to read it?
No,
Doesn't sound like I want to read it.
Because everyone loves the rotisserie chicken at Costco.
Of course.
It's like it's amazing. And what is it? It's $4.99 or $3.99.
It's super cheap. You can just,
and it's delicious, absolutely delicious, and all the way in the back. So by the time you get there and you get your chicken and then you're checking out, you have like your cart, like your mega cart filled with like everything under the sun. And
all for $11.
And you have your rotisserie chicken. Okay, so it's a great way to get you in the store. But so the Costco chickens, they can't even walk. They fall over.
Oh.
It's so sad, and they're in like little tiny cages and that don't get cleaned. And but the New York Times article did bring out the fact that Costco is going to make changes. They're sure of it. It was a very optimistic article that that America will not allow that to continue. And I was really impressed. There were some other companies that are completely, like they have free-range chickens. Those chickens are walking around until it's the end of their life, and they're using stun guns instead of boiling them. That's what they were doing, like, until recently.
Oh.
Like they would just throw them in boiling water instead of stunning them first and killing them that way.
Wow.
Okay, so I got really off the topic here. Okay. But what do you think? Like, do you think that McDonald's McPlant? So my point to that was someone could be a vegan but still want to eat still want to eat their French fries.
You got to look like, yes, people, I think the trend is healthy for the most part. People are trying to get healthy, but you don't. McDonald's and Beyond Meat are not saying they're healthy, and they're not going to, because obviously that would just be a lawsuit, but also you got to look a lot of if you want to get athletes involved, more famous people, athletes are getting on plant-based diets and extending their careers. I can give you a legitimate example is Chris Paul. He looked like he was down and out. He's a basketball player. He's a point guard for the Suns. He went on a plant-based diet and then came back in an all-star year, and he said he's never felt better at like 36 years old. You understand, like, that's, people hear that stuff and they're like, well, maybe I could do plant-based and extend my years in whatever I'm doing. So you never know.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so now I feel really bad because for lunch today, I made this big steak in a frying pan.
I'll never
And then I
plant-based.
split it 3 ways. Pluto, Juno, and me.
That's fine. You can eat meat.
Okay.
You don't have to feel bad eating meat. That's how people eat. But if you do want to change it up, plant-based is an option.
No, but that's actually but it is a very, very important point. I guess we should move on. And when it comes to Beyond Meat, I vote it has a place in your portfolio. At the very least, maybe Tyson would come in and acquire them. I could see where Beyond Meat could be acquired if that stock comes back a bit, especially with the news, about earnings in February. Interesting, though, the stock didn't fall by the end of the day when those earnings came out last month, which tells you that there's optimism, that the message wasn't bad, but those margins are bad. I don't know. You know what? There are better stocks. We've given you much better stocks. You're much better off with Fisker and NEO and just enjoy your Beyond Meat. What's our next question?
Now, we only have about a minute left here, but that's okay. Let's just touch on it real quick. We wanted to talk about, it says, you know what, we can answer this question in the next segment. How about that?
Let's move on to the next. Okay, so we're going to do that.
I'll read the question. We'll answer it in the next segment. Does that work for you?
Okay, yep, let's hit it.
Okay. My real estate agent says that we had better buy now, or it will be too late to get a cheap mortgage. Why would mortgages be rising if the Fed is so committed to keeping rates low? But all we care about is knowing if mortgage rates are really going to rise.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to take next segment, and it's super important. It's really important, and there's a lot of complexities to it. And everyone is thinking that when they think about their wealth, they think about the value of their house having increased and the value of their stocks having increased. And we got to keep everybody safe. I'm the Millionaire Maker, but I also want to make sure you keep your millions and that you have the money to make and invest and make those millions of dollars. I am Hillary Kramer, the Millionaire Maker. Stay with us. We have the stocks that you want to own and find out the answer to this question.